The Palad Khik, or the Thai phallic Shivalingam type amulet, which is an animist charm used by Thai Buddhist folk who have maintained their animist beliefs since the advent of Buddhism, and most Thai people still maintain those beliefs to this day. And so the Palad Khik is a representative image of the male sexual organ, and is normally preferred to be made with sacred tree woods or sacred woods, or wood which is seen to possess magically powerful properties, and it is used as a talismanic charm. It is also known as Aikik or Aikik, and sometimes Kunpet, which are different regional terms used by Thai people in different regions, all meaning, of course, the Palad Khik. Appearance of the Palad Khik. The Palad Khik, or as sometimes called the Kunpet, is a krung rang, meaning a occult talisman, kong klang, with sorcerous properties, and has received great preference and popularity with Thai people. Most Palad Khik are hand carved from wood, which is believed to be auspicious woods which bring great blessings, and some of which are believed to possess inhabiting nature spirits or devas, meaning angelic intelligences or heavenly intelligences inhabiting them, whose purpose is to serve Mother Nature or to help living beings. Some Palad Khik, however, are also made from various types of stone, or even leklai, or which is a Kaya City elemental substance believed to possess the spirit mind of powerful Lursi hermit practitioners, and is a subject for itself, so I will continue on. They are also made from sacred brass alchemical alloys and copper and other alchemical metallic alloys such as Navaloha, which is a mixture of 9 sacred metals, some of them being ancient artifacts. Galabangha, which is coral. Kau, which is a horn. Nga, which is of course ivory tusks. Kiao, which can be boar's tusks or tiger teeth, and other animal remains which are believed to possess magical powers. The image is carved in the shape of the human genital organ, but no kind of skin or covering is used to cover the image with. They can have various sizes, ranging from very small to extremely large, and only able to place upon an altar or on your market stall table, which is often seen on Thai street markets. Before the Palad Khik image can be released and given to anybody, it must receive a magical empowerment which is based on thousands of years old Vedic incantations, mostly deriving from the Atharva Ved, which is a very ancient Brahman Kampira, the third Kampira of the Vedas, and is mainly or completely composed of incantations. One needs to possess the Vicha Sayasat, which is the art of sorcery, or as I prefer to call in Thailand, Buddha magic. Or it must be a monk who is a practitioner of much renunciation and purity, with high powers of meditative ability, able to enter the 4 jhanas and empower his mind with the powers which arise when one attains access to these 4 jhanic or dhyana states of mind. Even when lay masters bless and empower these animist charms, it is popular to take them to Buddhist ordained bhikkhus, meaning monks, to perform their prayers and blessings, because it is believed that the amulets, although being animist in nature, will then receive all possible Buddhist blessings and be useful as a talismanic charm for Buddhist people and for Buddhist purposes. The true name of the Palad Khik actually most probably has had its sound and pronunciation distorted over the eons, as the true Brahmin name was Bratsawa, which is Sanskrit and means Kiang Kang in Thai. It means stay next to you, like a companion. And because he who pays puja or reverence or Bucha offering and prayer to the Palad Khik prefers to hang it on a waist cord around his waist, except in the case of children who will hang it around their neck, because when older people will see the child with it hanging around his neck, they will be forced into a good mood by laughing and always be good towards that child through the good feelings which arise from the happy laughter. It is assumed that the Palad Khik has its true roots coming from the Indian people who migrated into the Southeast Asian continents of Savannaphum and what is now known as Thailand and the other surrounding countries. And they entered from the southwest, which is what we now know as South Thailand, in the times of the Sivichai Empire, about 2,000 years ago. This is assumed because the Hindu people revere the god Praisuwan, or in Thai, or as Hindus call him, Shiva, or Sankar, or many other names, Maharishi, the great Rishi, the great Rusi, and they pray to blocks of stone which are carved in the form of the male organ. The two sexual organs are used in Brahmin/Hindu belief systems and in ritual for praying to Shiva and Kali. And the Shiva Lingam is the symbol of Shiva, so the male sexual organ. And this is most probable and almost certainly the root origin of the Thai Palad Khik occult charm. This carved stone male phallic organ of reverence as a symbol of cosmic principles is called the Shiva Lingam, and is in principle most symbolic of the same properties, be they cosmic or magical, as the Thai Palad Khik. The beginning of Bucha to Palad Khik has also its point, which comes from praying to the sun and the moon, which in ancient times saw the building of stone pillars which mixed imagery of the sun and the moon together in union. The Palad Khik changed its shape from being a ritual altar instrument of large size to being a small-size portable instrument for those who wished to constantly apply this form of magic and of reverent prayer for blessings. There is also a legend of some groups or believers who believe that the devas of the celestial realms and the humans worked together to build the Shiva Lingam and create it to Bucha Pratisuwan, Shiva. But the building of Shiva in his image for Bucha is too crude, and so they created a metaphoric symbol of the Shiva Lingam to Bucha instead, which is much more representative of his true cosmic nature and principles of what the imagery and the personification of that which we call a god, namely Shiva, represents. Because high students of Vedic philosophy do not see the gods as personified. They see personifications of the gods as human methods of communication to try and describe cosmic principles, which are not necessarily persons in the sense of Atta, but perhaps in the sense of what the Hindus call Paramatman, which is arguably in contrast with the Buddhist concept of non-self or anatta. I don't agree that they are in contrast. I think that they agree with each other, and I will explain that on another day. In the meantime, we will remain with the story of the Palad Khik. There is also another strange legend which says that one day Shiva had consummated his nuptials with his consort Prauma Kali in the middle of the court, and that the devas and angels were able to see it, and that they showed lack of respect and showed they'd lost their respect towards Shiva because of this. And so Shiva then made a kind of a curse or a blessing in one and made a nimitta. So he manifested a Shiva Lingam in the middle of this courtyard and said, "He who wishes to enjoy the pleasures of life and to not suffer and to have all good things should Bucha the Shiva Lingam in the middle of the courtyard, and that he who does so will fulfill all of his dreams." Another myth about the origins of the Shiva Lingam says that there was once a province where a great illness and plague befell the people and thousands died, and so they believed that this came from Kali, the destroyer, and in her wrathful mode, and so they built the Shiva Lingam in Bucha to her consort, Lord of Heaven, Shiva, in order to appease him, and everybody got better and was healed. And this is another tale which claims to be the cause of, or the origin of, the creation of the Shiva Lingam. A further legend which some believe is that, and in fact this is the legend that most people believe in the Hindu nations, is the legend that Trimurti, he was the greatest reverer and prayer to the three Mahadevas of heaven, Shiva, Vishnu and Brahma, or in Thai, Pratsiva / Pratisuwan, Pratvisanu or Pranarai, and Praprom Brahma. And all three of these deities were impressed and saw this and appeared to him and let him pay reverence and see their glory. But of course they did not show every dimension of how they really are as celestial beings or cosmic beings. And so Prapram Brahma appeared with 4 faces, 4 arms, and Pratvisanu Vishnu appeared as a normal humanoid type deva, and Pratsiva Shiva appeared only showing particularly the part of him that would reveal that he was male in nature, in his cosmic tendencies. And because of what was seen, namely the lingam was the only thing visible, that the Palad Khik or the Shiva lingam was then created as his image. This is the most believed of all the legends I have recounted in this podcast till now. The nature of the Shiva lingam as it transformed into a portable Palad Khik happened in and because of Thailand. Because the Thai people, with their pre-Buddhist, animist and sorcerous practices and belief in magic and sorcery, applied their methods of pruksek to invoke and empower magical and sorcerous powers within these images, to embed magical powers within the images, be it with incantation or personal psychic abilities. This is because the people of Siam, and what Siam was before it ever became Thailand, have been practicing these ancient forms of sorcery for thousands of years and maintained them as complete forms of Vicha, sorcery, which do not have missing links, as we do in the case of Western witchcraft and other forms of occultism, which many Westerners try to unravel and decipher, and with which they just confuse themselves more and more with details of diligent rituals which are overly complex and impossible to complete without leaving holes where you can be attacked. Most Palad Khik, or many, are not always carved from the monk himself, rather are made by artisans and lay sorcerers who have faith in the purity and renunciation of their chosen guru, monk, and will present the monk with these amulets for him to bestow his blessings and the power of his pure practice into making them not only lucky fortune bringers but also protective amulets and things which will point us towards the sources of guidance for our own betterment. As a last note, to leave the spiritual and magical aspects and the cultural aspects and the history and origins behind, I would like to finalize with the fact that apart from the Palad Khik being a krung rang or a occult talisman of ancient origins with magical interests and anthropological interests, it also has high art interest, because many Palad Khik are carved by great artisans with forms around them, such as a lady clinging to the phallic, or a monkey, or other forms which can be carved around the basic phallic form of the lingam amulet. There are 2 reasons for including this kind of imagery. 1, of course, is for the fusion of magic, and 2 is to condition our belief and to see the purpose of the particular Palad Khik for what it is for they can have different purposes, be they for Mahasane attraction, Metta Mahaniyom Kakai for business, Ke Atan to protect against black magic, Ganjon, Put Pi Pisad, keep away thieves and demons, or to increase popularity and sexual seduction, and for gambling. And so each Palad Khik can be empowered with its own particular kind of magic spell and for particular purposes. they can also be empowered with all of these purposes by including all of the formulas and sutras of empowerment, which is long-winded, although it is fun. This kind of empowerment does not allow empowerment of mass numbers of amulets, because one has to grab each amulet one by one and think of who it is for and what they need and what you understand about them, and to make the right wishes for them and make them authentic. And that has to be included in the sorcerous psychic empowerment, that the heart also passes on a spiritual empowerment of metta, so that metta mahaniyam enters the amulet. One must invoke the 4 elements. One has to reanimate it using the Katha Samsip song, which is the 32 parts of the body, humanoid body of course, but it is used for all kinds of imagery of animals or animist kind of forms. And there is a very, very tiring process. It is unbelievable that he who has truly empowered something, after finishing with just 1 or 2 or 3 takrut, one can really feel a lethargy and as if one has been sucked of energy. And so these kind of Palad Khik, or any kind of these rare and mostly undocumented in official books amulets from authentic masters, which have been obtained through carrying them personally to the master and asking him to bless them, are of course the most highly empowered amulets, because they have received personal attention from the hand of the master without having to distribute any power or magic into a box or a table full of boxes of amulets. Palad Khik do not usually receive this kind of empowerment because of their rarity and the way that the monks receive them through their luksit, their devotees who bring them in small numbers. The rarity of wood is also a very, very influential factor in why they are lesser seen amulets. They are artistic for collection, and they have high magical power for those who believe in such. And perhaps not a mainstream collector niche, but for those who know and believe in the Palad Khik, they are those who know what I am talking about, and they are those who know why they have their Palad Khik, and they know how it has improved and lightened their lives, be it just with more peace from wearing it or from true magic which is emitting from it. Either way, hanging an amulet round your neck or your waist in the morning, saying your prayer before you leave the house, always makes you feel safer. Whether it really works or not is another matter I will talk about another day. But are amulets useful? Well, of course they are, if they make us feel better and make our lives lighter and our burdens less. Satu, this is Ajarn Spencer signing off, and I hope you understand the Palad Khik Amulet a little more for this talk. Goodbye, and may you all prosper and be happy and live long lives.